Oh, live. Guys, today we have a very special person from the community of the Onewheel and is one of the old fox we have. Is one of the persons who work a lot. It's not the first time he's here with us, and it's a pleasure to have him here again. He's a person who do a lot for our community in USA and around the world. He's always very active. Sometimes you don't see him, but he's doing most of the job for you to see these beautiful pictures and videos that he's always creating to show how big is our community. And I think the community in USA have to be very, very proud to have you. I would love to have you here in Europe to doing that for all of us, because your pictures and videos are the best ones. But not just that. For the last 3 years, he's created something very special in Miami. I think we're going to talk about that. And this 2024 is going to be again bigger and bigger and bigger, and we're going to be there. First of all, I want to say thank you so much for coming here, my friend. How are you?
Thank you for having me. I'm super glad to be here, and I'm great, actually. We're getting ready for Christmas here and spinning up a couple of new products that are going to come out soon. So been busy, but life is good.
Yeah, I think, let me just see, was something. Oh, okay, it's perfect. No, I'm just checking something, guys. We are checking for the first time the Instagram to be live. Let's see if that is working.
Perfect.
Let me see. Give me just a second.
Not a problem.
I hope that is working.
I'm thinking, actually, just a second. I'm going to check a bit of lighting thing here because I see I've got a really hot spot right above me, and I think I know just the thing to do.
If anyone is in Instagram,
let's see if that's better. Oh, so much better. So much better now. Matter of fact, I'm going to turn up that key light just a hit now. I think we're going to be great.
Let's see if that is working or not. I hope that is working. So I think we are.
Cross our fingers and hope it's working.
I think it's working. It's working.
Right. Great. And now that key light's too high. I'm going to turn that back down again. We're going to be good to go.
Yeah, perfect. We are live. That's so for the first time we are doing with the Instagram too. The important thing is for us to reach the maximal of the community. That is our seal. That's why we are in Facebook, we are in YouTube, and we are now in Instagram. And from now on, let's go to the interview. First of all, if anybody don't know you, you are with the first interview was a big interview. You was one of the first ones. But before we continue, can you present yourself again to everybody who don't know you very well?
Sure.
Or maybe they don't know you. I think everybody knows you. And talk directly a little about your company too.
Sure. So my name's Cory Boehne, and I'm the guy behind Armor-Dilloz. Of course, Armor-Dilloz is the best tire sealant you can possibly get for all of your PEV needs. It was created actually out of frustration. I ended up getting a bunch of flats here in Miami on my Onewheel. There was a lot of construction going on, and unfortunately, that means a lot of debris in the streets. And, I just really got frustrated with constantly losing tires and losing rides and having to deal with the struggle of not just replacing the tires, but the lost time and the frustration with that. In fact, I was in Key West, which is a full day drive for me, and I lost a tire whenever I just started riding. And, I really just decided this is enough. I'm going to fix the problem and fix it well. That was the genesis of Armor-Dilloz tire sealant. And of course, as you see there in the bottom, Stokebird is one of my creations as well. I decided that we needed a wonderful way for people to escape the cold winter weather and come enjoy some tropical Miami in the middle of winter. So we created a free community-based event called Stokebird. And this is wonderful. Vendors sponsor it. So we have multiple really wonderful vendors who pay for all of the needs that we have, generators and the costs associated with security and all of the little things that we need to make this happen. So I can't tell you how much we really appreciate all of those folks. And, I'm just proud to be here and proud to be doing what we're doing, having the time of our lives, riding all of these really cool electric devices. And, what a great community. I couldn't be more stoked to be a part of what we're doing.
My friend, now that we are talking directly, we're going to talk about how you came to idea to say, okay, I'm going to do something in Miami, close to me, and how was the reaction from the community around you?
So yeah, that's a great question. The thing is we kept talking about it and talking about it. We should have an event down here in Miami. It's such a great place to be in the winter. It never freezes. It rarely gets below 60 degrees. Most of the winter we're between 70 and 80 degrees Fahrenheit. So that's really quite warm. Feels like summer all year long. And so I decided, it'd be really great to invite the friends down here to come and enjoy this wonderful weather, to ride and experience this beautiful city and all it has to offer. Miami's a really, really wonderful spot, and there's just so much to do here, so much fun to be had. And it's really great to be able to share that with our friends. So we talked about it for years, and eventually I just decided, it's time to make it happen. Let's do this thing. And we created Stokebird.
And do you imagine that okay, you have a big community there, just for everybody to know, you are very big.
Yep.
But in the beginning, when you start, you imagine it's going to be so big like it is today, because it's starting to be one of the biggest events in USA.
Yeah, it really is. No, I didn't expect that at all. I couldn't be more thrilled that it is, of course. It's great to have everybody get down and have a great time together. And this year, we're actually even expanding it out even more aggressively beyond Onewheel. We want to invite all of our EUC, e-bike, and scooter friends to come and join us. Rider Guide, which is a really strong review site here. I believe we're going to be partnering up with them and have them help us to drive a little bit of engagement and let people know that this is happening, and just get the word out so folks can come and enjoy themselves, which of course is the entire point.
Yeah, I think it's one of the events. If I have the chance this year, I would
love. Yo, Fabian, what's up?
Fabio is doing a fantastic job in Portugal too, and he's doing a lot for the community in Europe. And,
we love Fab. Fab is awesome.
Yeah, and we
Jen,
have.
Hey, what's up, buddy?
Everybody's coming now. I think if anyone can enter us, if we are in Instagram, that will be perfect. If somebody can enter, if the live is happening in Instagram.
Yeah, let us know that's working, right?
Yeah, that is the important
little experimental stuff going on here.
Yeah, I think that is important, because I think Instagram is one of the points that lots of people use it, and we need it. So today, you are a person. Do you have when you start this? Do you create everything by yourself? Because I know that you are a guy who creates a lot of stuff. Yeah. And do you create everything from yourself, or was like you came to your friends and say, let's do this and let's create something good for Miami? Because
it's definitely a community effort. There's certainly a lot of people who reach out, and it's not just friends who are local. It's riders from all over, especially Oak City. Oak City always has a great bit of help that they provide to us. And I just have to emphasize how much this is a community event. It's not Cory Boehne's Stokebird or Armor-Dilloz's Stokebird. Stokebird is designed such that even if I was to walk away tomorrow, it's my hope that people would continue to come down and continue to enjoy the wonderful weather here in the winter, just to get away and have a good time for a week together.
Yeah, and so first of all, Miami is perfect for everybody to have a good time and have a nice ride. Like now in Germany is the worst weather you can imagine.
Yeah, please don't be too jealous. Our summers are terribly hot and humid, so there's a trade-off. It's during the summer we really kind of have to ride pretty much at night because the daytime is brutal. With that being said, during the winter we like to joke that the winter in Miami is the best summer in the world.
So, what is the expectations for you guys this year?
It's a great question. The truth is we don't track it in any way. There's no ticket sales. There's no registration. It's just come on and enjoy yourself. With that being said, last year we had somewhere around 350, maybe 400 riders that joined us. And this year, everybody's saying, I'm going to bring a friend or six. So we really don't know. I wouldn't be surprised to see us over 500. I guess I wouldn't be terribly shocked to see nearly 1,000 here. We welcome them all. So
you have to thank you has made a big update, because putting other PVs uh, to be welcome to come to the event. I think you open the doors for the community of the PVs to come more and more. And I think Miami is one of the places that we have lots of riders. I know lots of riders, and I think that is going to be fantastic. And the way you are describing, everybody's invited to come. But I'm going to make it not. I don't want to be negative, but you don't need to subscribe to nothing. You just have to come.
Nothing at all. There's nothing to subscribe to, no RSVP, anything like that. Just show up and have a blast. If you want to be here one day or all the days, it's absolutely no problem. The only thing that's kind of an invite-only event is the after party. And the reason for that is because we hold that at Oleta River State Park, and we do it mostly at night. So you have to have a cabin to get entry at night, and each cabin's only allowing 4 people. So while we might stretch the rules a little bit, we have to be pretty careful to be respectful of them. So we encourage people to, please get a cabin and, make sure that you've got your registration and make sure that everybody who's coming with you, about. Just that way we are respectful of the park and make sure that we are continually welcome there, because it's a wonderful, wonderful place. After the event, we actually get together, and it's 1,000 acres of waterfront, beautiful park with mountain bike trails and like 15 miles of mountain bike trails. And of course, it's all ours at night. So not only do you have the beaches with the ocean right there on the islands, but you also have all of these wonderful mountain bike trails, campfires, cabins. It's a wonderful experience. Of course, again, it's very limited. And a lot of people are now registering the cabin, 10, 11 months in advance so that they are sure they get it, including me. I always reserve right up front. But it is the only part of Stokebird which is, requiring of any sort of pre-registration or purchasing of anything, is that after party where you do have to have the cabin and have to have access to the park at night.
I think it's going to be a crazy thing. I think it's going to be one of the biggest ones. I'm very proud that you are doing the way I like to do for the community. It's not being for the money, it's for us to have fun. And you are one of the persons, you have your company, you put lots of today of us to ride and have more safe, and sometimes it's before nobody has your product was always you are in the middle of the ride, you don't have nothing, but you are a person never talks about that. You go to the events, you always try to take care of everybody, you have lots of friends around you.
Yeah, and I'm very lucky like that. Extremely lucky. Such great friends.
Do you have lots of friends? So, but I want to say like this: what is for you? You was a person who traveled to lots of events this year, 2023. Yeah. Well, how was for you? How can you describe it? The experience, because I know that there's lots of riders from Europe who love to go in 2024. To some of the events in USA. How can you describe it, your adventure?
So for me, there's always a threefold experience for me. You've got the business side, which of course I sponsor a lot of these events. A lot of people really don't know this, but all of these events for the most part are paid for by the community, by vendors, by these companies, so that they can happen. Future Motion generally, is paying for, prizes for the riders and such. But they're not really going out there and paying for these events to happen, with the exception of Race to the Rail, which of course they put on. It's a massive, amazing thing that they do. But all of the smaller events are all community driven. So, the side of the community and going out there and just hanging out with all these wonderful friends, meeting the new people who are joining the sport, and of course seeing the old people who are like family now, it's truly wonderful. So that aspect is great. Of course, there's the business side, but the truth is I don't end up doing a lot. I'm a terrible, terrible businessman like that. I set up my booth and I generally run away and go take photos the entire time. So I'm never really taking care of the business I should be taking care of. But that's okay. People are, I think people have a pretty good idea what our product does. I don't need to sit there and stab tires the entire time and play the sales guy. It's much more fun to be out there creating that wonderful content for everyone, which we're of course proud to give away free. This year, I think we shot something like 200,000 photos. Of course, we pare those down before publishing. just to make sure that we're only publishing the best 10,000, right? Yeah, so we do a lot of photos each year. And we love to provide those to people because, these memories are special, and they're for some people a once in a lifetime thing. And even for those of us who get to do it, every year, it's still a special event each and every time. And of course, there's the third side of it, which is just, again, the community and hanging out and, enjoying the folks that are there, the experience of the event. Oftentimes, most of these are racing events. Stokebird is kind of unique, in fact, in that it is the only major event which is not a race-based event. There's the racing side and all of the excitement with the results and all of the competition, which is super fun. And it's really great to see all of these people go out there, progress, and really learn how to ride a one wheel. And of course, the sport's new. So sometimes we see some real surprises in technique, style, and just the way that people are equipping their boards with different things, just to, really give them that competitive edge and get them out there to, be ahead of the competition. So that's really, really awesome. And of course, we see the female side of the sport growing a lot, which is wonderful. I think it's really important that we have that diversity in our community. And, there's some really fast ladies out there doing some killer racing. I expect that next year we're going to see more of that. And of course, with the latest boards, both the VESC and of course the GTS, these speeds are going to be incredible up in the next year. It's just going to be wow. I'm admittedly a little worried about safety because these speeds are starting to get like downhill mountain bike speeds. I'm certainly concerned for the safety and well-being of all of my friends. But I'm still encouraging them to get out there and send hard because, do it for the glory. Got to go.
But putting this way, this year you
Christy. Hi, Christy. Speaking of the ladies,
yeah, Christy, the Millers is there.
Shout out to Christy and Bart. Love you guys. Little Zoe. And speaking of the ladies as well, the Groms. Of course, that's the future of our sport. All the kids out there, and we're seeing some kids just doing incredible things. We see these kids like Jackson that just literally goes, and we had a teeter-totter built out of an old spool, like a wire spool with a board ran across it. And, the older riders, we of course ride up on it, ride to the center, let it tip down, ride off. These kids are literally riding up it and they just full throttle all the way up and act like it's a jump. So the thing doesn't even have time to come down before they're flying through the air. It's incredible. I obviously look forward to what they're going to bring.
Talking about jumping, you have one of the best pictures and one of the best videos we have that this year everybody's starting to jumping with the one wheels, something that we didn't see before. And now with the machines coming to the speeds, you are one of the guys who started very soon. How do you see the evolution?
It's incredible. One of the things so back at the first Float Life Fest that I attended, years and years ago, what is it, 7-8 years ago now? It's been a long time. 40,000 miles and many years ago. I remember we literally had to have these stickers to put on our boards because otherwise the boards all look the same. Literally we were always struggling with, is that my one wheel? Because they all look the same. They're all the same board unless it's just beat to tar. That was the original, days of the sport. It was really funny because it was such a homogenous set of boards that we literally couldn't tell each other's boards apart. Now today, of course, the level of customization and all of those things which are out there is just incredible. So many different companies making so many cool products. Like you said, jumping, you've got Flight Fins, who of course originated that. And now there's, lifters and some other companies out there that are making different types of products. But, the Flight Fins innovation that brought that to the sport, of course, they brought us air. So they took us off the ground and they brought us into the sky. And of course, now with the faster boards, it just gets better and better. And of course, everybody's continuing to innovate. Flight Fins just released, I think it's the Falcons, right, which are incredible. And so, I just can't say enough about how excited I am to see some of these big airs this year. Get some of those amazing photos of that. So I'm really, really looking forward to this next year with all that speed and all of the different toys to get you up in the air. Really incredible.
But it's like Boehne is saying, ask Cory, how did he save Pato's life with his one?
Bart's being too generous here. We obviously there was a tragedy here in Miami a few years ago. And effectively what had happened was that a father was out, doing dinner with his family, and they were walking along the sidewalk to return to their vehicle. And unfortunately, a driver, there was no DUI charge, so we really don't know what was going on with the guy. I suspect pharmaceutical drugs. Who really knows? But he basically passed out behind the wheel, as best we can tell, and just literally at 20, 30 miles per hour, just ran right into this guy. Sent him flying through the air. And then, of course, he comes to and realizes, oh, I've had some sort of a problem, and just floors the car, runs over top of the guy, and tries to take off. Now, I was a block or so back, and I decided, hey, this is really not okay. I'm going to go help, because, of course, I heard screaming up there. By the time I got to the area where it happened, it was obvious that bystanders were helping, rendering the aid they could. I'm not an EMT. I didn't have much to offer at that point, but I could definitely see there was a trail of oil leading to the car that had hit him. So I decided, hey, I'm on a Onewheel. I can catch this guy. There's no way he's getting away from me. So I just absolutely laid into it. And this was back on the Onewheel XR. So this was back when I first got my XR. And, I was really enjoying all that speed of the XR. Seemed so fast back then. Now it seems so slow to ride an XR. But they were, at the time, it seemed so amazingly fast, right? So, just tried to get a hold of the guy. Got him actually at a stoplight. He took off again. And about that time, the owner of the store where this happened in front of had actually told the customers in front of the store, hey, look, watch everything. He just leaves the whole store open. Sean Alarcone, great guy. He just leaves the store wide open, jumps in his car and starts chasing the guy. So I'm running down this road, and all of a sudden this dude in this like big old donk car just comes blowing past me, chasing this guy down. We get him to the next stoplight. I start beating on his window, get out of the car, stop. You need to get out of the car now. You just hit somebody. And he's kind of looking at me like, I'm just like, okay. Guy turns back to the road. I'm like, this dude's about to take off. I don't know what he's going to do. He's going to run through other cars or hit other people. I'm like, we're over. This is not happening. So I just grabbed my Onewheel, busted out the window with the thing, the, driver's side window, reached in, gave the guy a good arm bar up against the seat. So, choking him a little, giving him a little love. And reached in, turned off the vehicle, put it in park, took, basically opened the door from the inside of the vehicle and removed him from the vehicle. Took him over to the sidewalk and just, like we did to our little brothers and sisters and cousins, kneeled right here where it feels real good, and just held him there until the police arrived.
Tell us a little what happened. For everybody, sorry, I just want to show a video that you told me, something in Discovery.
I apparently have a bit of a habit of doing this sort of thing. So they compiled several viral videos that I've had. The one that actually it starts has like, I don't know, 1.1 or 1.2 million views on YouTube. I've actually ironically made a couple $1,000 just from the YouTube
I'm
video.
putting the video now for everybody to see it.
But yeah, so this was Investigation Discovery, who were kind enough to actually reach out and offer to do a really cool little segment in a program called Crimes Gone Viral. So, yeah.
And this here was something that came then you with your accident.
So this was the car one. You'll find that there are multiple ones here. There was a rollover there that I helped the people get out. This was the one that was on the interstate. And of course, towards the end of this, you have the Onewheel one as well, where I ran them down on the Onewheel. So yeah, I like I said, I have something of a habit of this. In fact, if you live in, I think it was,
you have like glue, my friend.
yeah, just excitement follows me. I'm a very exciting guy. So I think. Yeah, there's the Onewheel. That's the one. This is the local program. You can see the trail of oil that I followed. Made it very easy to catch the guy, right? So, so and just
and there you are.
Yeah, there I am. Sean, he was the best at the interview. He says, "It's the fastest skateboard I've ever seen in my life."
Oh. But you made something very good, and I hope that if anyone sees something happen like you did, I think that is the normal reaction that you have to have, because
I think so. It's not okay for people to do that.
And I think today you have a good contact with the person who has the accident, or you never?
Yes, no, we've been in contact since the accident. First, there was some question as to whether or not he was even going to live. There is certainly some, traumatic brain injury that has lasted for the years, but he's back to functional, enjoying time with his family. And he was even kind enough, very, very kind man. Whenever it came to trial for the young man who'd ran him over,
I
he
thought
actually asked the judge to show leniency and mercy to the young man who had done that to him.
I like
So outstanding human, and
I,
enough respect can never be given to him for that. Just
I like the part that you broke in the the
if you've ever tried to break the side window out of a car, you'll know that these things are not easy to break. But it turns out a Onewheel, like butter, just goes right through, not a problem at all. So
how was the reaction from the other guy?
Jose Contreras, this gentleman, I don't really think he knew what was happening. It was
Uh-huh.
overwhelming violence and speed of action. I
Mhm.
don't think he quite expected that. So, it's I'm sure it was
Driving.
a shock to see a skateboarder coming through his window and aggressively attacking him in his car. Well, God knows what he was high on. I'm sure that was a bad trip for him. That could not have been
That was a
fun.
very bad one. So now, this year, my friend, we have lots of young riders. We was talking in the beginning about that, and these riders are pushing a lot, ladies and boys, kids. First of all, you taking these pictures and videos and see this reactions of this future. They are the future.
They are.
How was for you being directly, because you have lots of videos, lots of pictures. I recommend to everybody to go to his medias. I'm going to leave all the links. You're going to have so much beautiful pictures, videos
Wait.
from him, just showing how much the community are. How can I say, evolution? I think we cannot call it anymore because they are so fast. That is
So
more than evolution.
yeah, it really is. You're really right. And if people just go to armor-d.com, that'll lead you to the special section of our website that now has years worth of archive available free. We encourage everybody to, enjoy, share, use them however they want. You can put them up on your wall, whatever you'd like to do, no charge, free from us. Just a gift to the community. Business owners, we of course ask them to at least reach out to establish some licensing deal to make sure we're not going to get in trouble with model agreements or anything like that. And, oh, look, the other night's ride. This was fun. I decided I needed to be Santa.
How was the experience?
Wonderful. Well, so I'm going to reach over here. So Gel Blaster
Wait a
here in the
second. Wait a
United States,
second.
these are really cool folks. They've actually been very generous through the Oak City crew. Josh Christensen and that crew has really enabled us to be very generous with these things. They've sent us out thousands of these things to give away. And marketing, I mean, it's obviously a marketing tactic for them. So we try to give them away to people who are going to tell their friends and go buy more and play hard. But Santa had these in a bag. So I just had a bag full of these. I was just handing out to everybody as we rode. So that was quite fun.
So that is something that everybody's using a lot now.
Yeah.
Is like something very crazy. How is the community reacting to this small game?
So I'll say that there's, several different reactions, very diverse. We're not really sure where it's going to land yet. Some folks are like, hey, this is really not okay with me. I'm very disturbed by the whole thing. Some folks are like, yes, more, let's play every day. And other folks are more like, I think it's wonderful, but let's just keep it down to, specified game days and having some fun with it and that sort of thing. So there's a very diverse set of reactions. I think we're all going to land on just some organized games where we have them out because, obviously in public, they're a little questionable. So we're definitely setting up games in parks where we all get out there, go ride our Onewheels around and, shoot each other. And they're very slow, 300 feet per second. So you have to lead the person on the Onewheel. It's very tricky. It's like, a fighter jet where you're trying to, I don't know if you've ever played a fighter jet game, but where you're trying to, lead your target with it it's very fun, super, super fun. And of course, they don't hurt very bad. Even if you get hit in the cheek or something, just feels like a little rubber band snap. No big deal. Tons of fun.
So for you, my friend, going to this event, this was one of them.
Incredible.
How was the sensation to be present in so that was the event that started with a bunch of friends, and today is one of the big races we have in USA.
So this one, there's actually a little confusion on that point. There are two different events that happen at Apple Valley Speedway outside of LA. There's the one that the LA crew puts on, and that happened a
Yes.
little bit later than this. It was actually broadcast by the the other folks that do all the broadcasting.
Yeah.
Spacing on their name right now for some
Yeah.
reason. Seth and those guys, Seth Johnson,
Mm-hmm.
great crew. In any case, they broadcast that one. This one was put on by Rider Guide, which was previously Electric Scooter Guide, which if you've been in the sport for a while, you know Electric Scooter Guide for their wonderful scooter reviews, very data driven, very in depth, very professional reviews. And so they've actually expanded out now, and they're called Rider Guide. They're moving towards multi PEV and trying to, make it possible for people to get really good reviews of multiple types of PEV. And so effectively, they've decided that they wanted to put on a race. They rented out Apple Valley Speedway, and they actually the week before the race, turned out the race director that was going to be doing it was unable to do the race. So we last minute called up Justin Thompson. Everybody knows Justin Thompson, the original founder of Float Life Fest, and truly, as far as I'm concerned, and many others, the founder of this community. Justin is really the grandfather of the community. He started Float Life Fest. He started bringing all of us together and really started the racing scene for Onewheels. Justin is somebody we all have to give a great deal of credit and thanks to, and doubly so on this case, because with a couple of days, like 48 hours, I call this guy. I'm like, hey, Justin, you want to go to LA and have some fun? He's like, what do you mean? I'm like, we need a race director. He's like, I know nothing about these devices. I don't know these people. I don't know. And I'm like, come on, let's do it. Well, we got this, buddy. We've done this. And, we came out, me and Justin worked together to do that with the Rider Guide folks. Voro Motors had a great hand in helping with that. And we had a blast. We actually went out there. And from user feedback, the people who attended and did this, all signs are that we did not mess it up too badly. Everybody seems to have had a good time. The races went off on time. We were very proud of the fact that we stayed on schedule throughout the entire day. And a big thank you to Jake Cooper of Rent eBoards, who came out with us and was actually running the cameras while I was playing MC for the event, because they asked me last minute, can you be MC? And, we'll find somebody to do photos. I'm like, we need to get photos. So I called up Jake Cooper. If you don't know Jake, he's a great guy at Rent eBoards. And I said, hey, Jake, you want to go to LA and have some fun? He said, you know what? Let's do that. So Jake was out there shooting photos for us. And he did some killer work. Obviously, towards the end of the day, once I was done with the Master of Ceremonies thing, I actually grabbed a camera. We went out there and double shot during the sunset time. Got some incredible photos. Really fun to be out there. And as a point of contention here, people talk about how fast these things are, or how fast they're not, where the sport's going. According to my research, and by all means debunk this if I'm wrong, because I haven't done an in-depth research on this, but I was looking at some of the times at Apple Valley Speedway for cars, because of course they allow cars to race out there. And a BMW that's reasonably well built out there gets around that track in about 108. That's a fast time in a BMW out there. These Eastgate, or I'm sorry, 104, my bad, 104 for the BMW. These Eastgate guys, the fastest time of the day was something like 108. So they're literally 4 seconds off the lap time of a hot rod sports car. So to say that we're getting to where we're going pretty fast, I think it's fair to say we're getting really fast out there. These e-skate guys, and of course the pace for everybody from the scooters to the e-bikes, even the one wheels, everybody's really going pretty darn fast these days.
I'm just going to say like this. I think the evolution, without you guys, I'm always thankful to the community in USA, because the races and everything started long ago. We are starting now in Europe. I'm very happy to see the AOL growing now here in Europe. I think these 5 guys, they built something very important for all of us. They are doing a fantastic job in the best way they can. Sometimes with no help. They have to do everything for themselves. And we have to be very thankful for what they do. And of course, we are creating something here in Europe, not the same like USA, but we are creating something maybe one day to exchange guys coming from USA to Europe, and we go to America and see how each community works. And I think what is more important is like you told in the beginning, your event, the event you guys are creating in Miami, is not going to be a race. It's something just for everybody to have fun, and it's
That's
different
it.
from the other events. The other events is more races, is more, and that's what I love to see, is a community event. And you talk about Justin, I just want to say something about Justin. You told lots of things. I never meet Justin in person. I was with the opportunity to interview him 3 times here, and 2 of them was to talk about so what the event is always creating. He's a guy who has a big background of doing events.
He
If
does.
anybody don't know, it's not just a beginning because of the Onewheel. He has the background of, and I recommend to everybody to see the interview I do with him, because he talks about it. He's a very simple person, a person who's do this for love. Today we have a big event, and I think from this big event he created, opened the doors for other big events now that we have in USA, and now we have in Europe, and I know that it's going to be around the world. And Justin is just a person who, I think we have to love him, all of us. I never
We
meet
really
him in
do.
person. In the last 2 years, he asked me, "Do you going to come? Do you going to come?" I always tell, I'm going to come," and I never came to this event. And I think his event is everything.
It is.
He
It is.
he help future motion to grow,
He does.
because what he did, he put a community. I think the Onewheel. I'm a person who rides AUC. I'm a person who rides skateboards, and I love my Onewheel. And the Onewheel community is so special, and is so united, uh, and I think is a good mirror for all the communities of other PVs, to see how they are happy, how they do everything united. And I think in the future, like you now doing in Miami, coming with saying, okay, we're not going to just do Onewheel, we're going to put more people, and we're going to know each other's. And I think you're going to have maybe more than 1,000 persons there.
That'd be great. As far as I'm concerned, we're all one big family. It doesn't matter if you're on an e-bike or if you're on
Yeah.
an EC or if you're on a Onewheel, an e-skate. I see us all as being, very much mutual interests, right? We may not ride the exact same device, but we all have the same interests at heart. We all love to interact, and electric vehicles are great for all of the same reasons: the quietness, the cleanness, and it's a great community on all of those fronts. I am biased. I do agree that the Onewheel community is very special.
It's very
Obviously, where I
special.
started, and I've spent a lot of time with these people. They're truly, in many cases, family. I just truly, truly love them. But it's, all of the communities I think are growing. They're all becoming stronger. And, I couldn't be happier to be in all of the communities I'm in. And they're each special in their own way. Could not be more stoked to be a part of what we're doing. And like you said, Justin, he's got a large history as he came from the French Broad River Festival, which he started, I think, 20 some odd years ago. It's a long, long time. And he's done many music festivals and things like that. So he brought all of that experience into the Onewheel world. And I'm not going to lie, I spent a lot of years in trade shows for a consulting firm that I work for, Enterprise Asset Management, really working on a lot of cool stuff in manufacturing and defense and cool stuff like that. But I mean, I knew how to do a trade show. That's not really doing an event. So Justin, I have to give him credit even for, what I do. I could not have done it without his help, advice, and inspiration.
Come on, you are being
Justin
nice.
is
You
truly
do so much. You do
well,
so much for the community. Come on.
I'll tell you,
You are
I wouldn't
being
be here
very
without
polite.
Justin. Wouldn't be here without Justin. And I don't think a lot of
Yeah, don't say that. Yes, okay, we can say that for one part, but you do a very special role in this community. That's I love to see. Like this year, I was in most of the events in Europe, and I was taking the pictures, I was taking the videos, I was making, and sometimes nobody notice us, but the community who loves the sport, they notice us.
Yep.
because they see us doing so much stuff because we do it with love. You have a company, but you are working, you are sponsoring, you are taking your beautiful bike there in the back that I have one of them too.
Ah, I love my Super 73. That's the RX RSD too. It's a real awesome bike. I actually just stopped by Miami Bike Shop today and had them give me a little tune up. It's so nice right now. It's running perfectly. The brakes are fresh on it. I think I rode about 30 miles today on it. So, I can't tell you how much I enjoy the e-bikes. I enjoy all of the devices, like I said, but no doubt about it, Onewheel holds a special place in my heart. It's a special device and is a very special community.
And you has a special way of treating everybody, and I see most of the times I just put some pictures to make the clip for the interview, and I was like, I have to stop now. You have so much pictures. If I start to put all the pictures, I think I was not going to stop, because you are a
Yeah.
person who knows so many people. So many people love you, and the community. I think they could not be so far without you, because you are putting this young people or young riders or old riders or everybody, sometimes nobody never see them riding, because lots of people don't use the Instagram so awfully. They just want to ride, have a good time, then you come with a nice picture or a nice video, and showing this person that nobody never listened for them.
Yeah, so
And
that's one of the reasons I do it. I grew up in, the motorsport stuff, running, dirt bikes, three-wheelers, and having a lot of fun in hot rod cars and everything else. And I think there are like 3 photos of me that exist from that entire like
mhm.
20-year period. So I decided, I think that that's really one of the big motivators for me doing the photos. It's one of the original reasons I started doing it. Was just that I really thought it was important for people to have these memories captured, for them to exist in, good high definition quality, so that, whenever they get to be old like me, they can look back and go, yeah, I did that.
I'm going to ask you something. I don't want to create. You can answer or not. How is you a person? Because there is something somebody said here, and I think is important. You are the Onewheel. How is your interaction with the future emotion? Do you have anything is difficult?
So,
I don't want to put you in a bad situation, huh?
no, you're not. You're not at all. So I'll say this: I love Future Motion. They have brought us a device that is incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Jack and the promotions team, especially now they've got the pro team, it's filled with friends. Everybody on there. I love them all. I couldn't be more stoked about the future of the sport and the fact that they're continuing to push forward. There's of course a little tension, and I understand. They've got some legal concerns, which are really a challenge for them. There's a lot of lawsuits against them right now. They're struggling very badly with regulatory pressure from the CPSC, the Consumer Protection people here in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
So they're trying to juggle a lot of balls, and I've been keeping up on the output from Kyle Dorkinson and all of the other people, as far as Jack Mudd and everything, the interview they did recently. And I don't necessarily agree with everything they do or everything they say. But I'm sure they don't agree with everything I do and everything I say either, and that's okay. What I will say is that I believe that regardless of any of the small tensions that exist, if you don't love Future Motion, love what they've brought to us, you're missing the point. Certainly, I don't always have to agree with everything they do, just like I don't always agree with everything family does or friends do, and that's okay. I think we lose sight of that sometimes today, that we can have these minor disagreements and these minor points of talking point. I don't have to agree with everything they do in order to love them. That's okay. And I can absolutely say I don't agree, and hopefully they don't hate me for it. I always worry that they will, but I certainly love them very much, and hope that they don't hate me for speaking my mind as freely as I do.
And if you lose that, then you lose everything, my friend.
Oh,
So
so yeah,
I just want to say I agree with you. I'm always with this discussion from everybody. We're never going to forget that the future emotion was the persons who bring something that all of us we love.
yeah,
If we agree with them or disagree, I just asking because of your company. Because if you have any issues, I know that lots of people now as
No,
having.
I might be a little bit annoyed about the fact that they're just rebottling a generally available commercial sealant and claiming it's PEV specific. Whenever I'm, I'm actually so fun point. I believe, and I guess I can't really prove this, but I believe that we're still to this day the only company that actually makes a product that is designed specifically for PEVs.
Uh-huh.
There's a lot of problems with PEVs people don't think about, like the fact that you've got a motor in contact with the sealant cooking it. Funny enough, you'll always see these pictures of the hubs that come off of these new GTs, and they've always got this blue stuff baked right onto the hub, which is the sealant that Future Motion is using. It's stuck to the hub and baked on, and people are chipping it off, and they're like, "What the heck?" The fact is that that's not designed to deal with the high temperatures in contact with the motor. So there's some things that we do, like the longer fiber Kevlar, the heavier loads of rubber, the special things that we do to our product, the anti-corrosives. We put a lot of sodium molybdate in it, right? So there's the things that we do that nobody else is doing, and the reason for that is because cost is no object to us. I did not start this company to make money and make a living out of it. I started this company to make sure that everybody got to continue riding and that flats weren't a problem. And that was the goal, not to make a product that was commercially viable. Commercial viability is great. Don't get me wrong. I love selling the product and I love doing what we do. But it was never designed around being profitable or anything like that. It was designed no holds barred, maximum performance. So, to say the least, I wish that they would, give me a call one day and say, hey, we'd love to carry your product. But that hasn't happened yet. And, that door is always open. So we'll see what happens in the future.
How many tests do you make?
All this. So funny enough, all of my personal devices, I'm always out doing stupid things on them, looking for ways to make it fail. And the truth of it is every ride is a test for me. But as far as actual video tests and stuff, I'll admit to being a little remiss. We certainly don't do as many as we should. We don't do as many videos as we should. And I'm hoping that in the upcoming year, as you see, I've built this lovely studio behind me. And I
It's very nice. I told you in private, I love to have something like that. Is very, very beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm pretty stoked about it. I got to admit, I feel very spoiled having this lovely studio here to work in. Makes doing interviews like this even more fun, of course. I always enjoy sitting here and chatting with you, but I got to admit, I feel very, very professional now with all of this stuff behind me going on. It's certainly a great thing to have this in my toolkit. And I do intend, as this year moves forward, to do some more stuff like this. And in fact, we keep tossing around the idea of doing something like if you know him, Whistling Diesel. There's a YouTube channel here in the United States. The guy he's mad. He just goes around destroying things. I mean, he literally just destroys things for fun. I keep thinking that we should try to destroy a Onewheel. You see, I've got a problem with failure, and I think I might actually fail. I don't know if you've ever really tried to destroy a Onewheel. They're pretty tough. I think we might actually. I think we might actually go ahead and do some real destruction videos sometime this year. But for sure, look out for more tire destruction videos because we're going to be running all kinds of stuff over. I've got a long list of things that we're going to be doing.
I'm going to ask you. I know that I see that you have the V1 there. You have a very nice setup of machines there. Do you think the GT is more strong than the XR or the V1?
No doubt about it. So that guy right.
Yeah.
I'm bad at this. I'm no good at this. This one right there.
Yeah.
That guy right there is actually a 0 mile V1. So that is an absolutely pristine V1. I've actually just upgraded. I just sold that to Mario Contino. And I actually managed to buy a 0 mile V1 in box. So brand new in box, never ridden. This one was ridden for about 100 feet before the owner decided they didn't want it anymore. So it's 0 miles and 100 feet. The metaphorical 2 miles and a blood stain. So they got rid of that board and let it sit. I picked that one up years ago. I've been very proud to own it. Now I'm going to have a brand new in box 0 mile V1. I'm super stoked on that. It's on its way right now, in fact. So, I will say that the V1 it's a great board. There's some really cool things about it. The motor technology in it, if you look inside the motor, they're built really wildly different from all of the other hypercore designs. Cool technology. And of course, they were amazing. In fact, they're one of the fastest boards still because of the motor design. These things will do 30 miles an hour. The thing is that it's kind of a pretty sketchy 30 miles an hour. They've got a couple of quirks that if you don't know how to ride them with the sensor and lift and all of that, they'll dump you pretty hard. So, the V1 had some quirks. The original Plus, that was a really great board. It's really pretty much reliable, much more reliable than the V1, of course. But of course, the power was pretty limited on the Plus. You've got a 750 watt hypercore motor on that guy. The old lithium iron batteries in it, which were amazing for stability, amazing for charge cycle and durability and all of that stuff, but a little bit, low in power and all of that for, delivering. And I'm a 225-pound guy. It's not like these boards have an easy time carrying me around. So I was always a little power challenged. Like I said earlier, the XR came out and I was like, okay, great. This board, I can climb hills on it reasonably well. I feel comfortable, riding a little faster on it. Feels like I got a little bit more headspace to be safe. So that was a great thing. The GT, of course, other than the tire, which of course I loathe the 6.5 tire for the most part. You'll notice that my GT over there is actually a GTR. I've switched out the hub with an XR hub. So I've just stuffed an XR hub over top of the GT stator, which is absolutely outstanding. Threw a couple of sets of the Stone Cold chillers from Land Surf on there because, motor temps on this guy, if you push pretty hard, can get high, especially here in this Florida heat. So a couple of little things like that. Armor-Dilloz, if you don't know, I make a ferrofluid. I say I make it. That's the one product we actually don't really make so much as source because I'm not set up to manufacture ferrofluid. That's a really precise operation. We just source it from the only company really that makes good ferrofluid and repackage it for use in PEVs. Of course, we did buy the highest grade possible, so I hope that everybody's getting the best product from us. I've been told that it's a higher grade than the other stuff available. I have no way to verify that, so I don't know, but that's what I've been told, and that's what we're buying. So, we do have the ferrofluid to keep temperatures down in the GT motors. There's some challenges with temperature. Now, the GTS, of course, which everybody knows now has just come out, they changed that over to where the motor is actually a different design in terms of the way that it's operating with the voltage. And what that leads to is that it's much cooler. So the GTS is much harder to overheat. I think people still might manage it, but it's certainly a lot harder than it was with the old hypercore design. Of course, that's a big challenge with Vests. All the cooling you can get on a Vest is a great deal. They're fast. Wow, they're fast. The Vests are just outperforming everything out there, including the GTS. As we've seen from the float wheel and Tony and all of that, the raw power available out of these things is just massive. And for a big guy like me, if I want to crawl slowly up a hill, that's really great. Even the GTS doesn't really do it for me like that. It's the reason I don't own a GTS just yet, because I like torque over speed. The GTS is more of a speed machine than a torque machine. That's why I love my Vest. The green one behind me over here, that's actually a Vest with just a standard XR pack in it, and it'll outclimb my GT any day of the week.
84 volts?
Incredible. Yeah, it's just a 60-volt system. Just the standard XR pack, and it will, I kid you not, with only a 15S pack, it will outclimb my GT no problem.
Yeah, I'm just going to show something that somebody sent to me now, and this is the Millers, and Chrissy just
love the Millers.
They are just seeing the life.
This is like what is this? It's very meta, very recursive. Yeah. I love it.
So, and then I'm going to put something that I think is important for everybody to understand. Christy told,
and we're so I
one
see
of
Christy
my
there.
first sponsors.
Yes, and we're so happy to sponsor Christy, Bart, and everybody. In all honesty, Zoe is one of our favorite riders. We really love the Millers. There's not enough that can be said about them, about how much we love the stoke that they bring to the sport. As the Onewheel family, I think I might be able to say they're my favorite Onewheel family. Hopefully it doesn't offend anybody. They're truly family to me. They've been there for so many years, and Bart, of course, is another Florida local.
I'm very proud
So
of Barn.
Bart and Christy and Zoe, they're like family to us. We truly love them.
I just want to say, first of all, they was here in Europe
Yes, he came. He
this
came
year.
to float the Highlands, right?
Yes,
Andy's
but
event. This is great. And I
the
love
good
Andy.
thing
Andy's a
about
great
them,
guy.
I just want to say, what was the good thing was for us as guys from Europe. He take his time to show the skills, show how can you react with the one wheel. He shows experience. He asked stop, was raining, and he stopped in front of everybody was in the event, and he tried to show how can you react with the one wheel. I think
I love that.
future motion, forget about Barn. I think Barn is one of the persons who do this for love,
Yep.
and today he has ended his life. Before I understand because he drank and everything. Today he stopped drinking, and
Yeah.
he has taken care of himself. And I was very proud. I grabbed him when he came to me and said, "Nelson, I stopped drinking and I changed my life." And I
Yes.
think it was a different Barn than
He
the
looks like
before.
he's in his 30s again. I'm
Yeah,
jealous.
and being there for lots of people who just see him in the other side, like the two of us. We are speaking. You are in USA, I'm in Europe, and as the possibility to see him and live, and he was going downhill with me because that is a big downhill, and he was going with a guy from France, and the guy was pushing, and he was in his back. And of one moment to another, I know that that could be a big competition, and Barn maybe could win, but Barn was behind him and was just saying, "Come on, push it, go hard, you can do it," and just showing this positive thing.
Yep.
I think shows how big he is, and it's not just winning; it's bring the people together, and he shows that he's a fantastic person. And I interview him. Normally the interview was to be 20 minutes, and we stay there close to 3 hours
Yep.
speaking in the middle of the road.
Bart is just, Bart really does bring the stoke. And it's, Bart really cares about the community more than a lot of folks do. He shows it over and over and over again. He really is all about community, and he really does love the sport, love the people, and it just shines through in all of his actions. Everything Bart does really does deliver in terms of community and stoke and everything that matters. I couldn't be more proud to call Bart a friend.
I just say I like Barn because maybe some people don't like him so much, or maybe don't like you or me because we are direct and we say our mind, and sometimes it's difficult for everybody to
Yeah,
to
I accept that I'm not everybody's cup of tea. That's okay.
uh,
I perfectly accept that. I do my best to be, great with everybody, but it's okay if you don't like me. I can accept that. I'll work on you. Eventually, you'll learn to love me. I promise.
I just say this. I think it's better for us to be. I prefer to have a person who say in my face something that he don't like. That
Yeah.
way, I can say never again I'm going to do it. That he is saying my back, and that's the type of persons I like in my life, and that's the type of friends I want to take for my life.
Yes.
And I think that is just going to help. Barn is one of the guys who started. You know that he started because of this stupid fall, this nosedive,
Yeah,
drinking his
Ryan
beer.
Hurwitz over in St. Augustine. He was visiting his friend Ryan, who of course operates one of the repair shops, one of the biggest shops, Woodswheel. He was actually out with Ryan hanging out, and had a couple of Bud Lights, and he was like, well, and we all made this. See, the thing is, we all made this mistake starting out, back in the early days. It feels good. The faster you go, the better it feels. And eventually, all of a sudden, you're very surprised when there's not a one wheel underneath you anymore. Of course, Bart's tough as nails. So unlike most people who would have been in the hospital immediately following that sort of nasty nosedive, Bart, I don't think he even hardly noticed. We're not really sure if he noticed or not, but he's super tough, and obviously gave us all inspiration to just go send harder and don't worry about it. I'll tell you, we were in, it was Fire Mountain or Arkansas. It may have been Arkansas. But I remember, we're out there racing, and Bart comes past me and gives me a "you," and just as he goes past me, I literally hear a loud thump and feel the ground shake as Bart just slams into it. And of course, he gets back up, grabs his board and just continues back on again at full speed immediately. The guy, if nothing else, has got to be given credit for having a full send attitude 24/7. Not just is he great with community, not just is he great about loving to spread the stoke, but Bart sends hard. Never question it. He sends as hard as anyone.
So now I'm going to put you with some questions. I'd like to see you as an experienced rider, and what was the persons that called your attention in 2023, the riders.
Man, there's so many riders out there Cricket Moore, of course, is one of the new riders sending hard and going high. That's new in 2023 to us. We've got so many riders that it's hard to really pick them out. We've got the new Groms, like I said, Jackson, who was sending off the, jump. Certainly impressed at him. We've actually just hired Jeff Gross here in Miami, who's one of the new race riders, and he's sending hard. Nico Alleman, of course, can't say enough about Nico. He's been a huge
Nico is crazy.
Year.
How big is Nico? I'm going to have the interview in January with him. Yeah.
So I always like to joke that him and Jeff are both jockey size, which, there's still some real question about whether or not being a smaller guy, like I said, I'm 225 pounds. I watch these guys ride these boards and, I get a little jealous because, they have so much power to weight ratio that I just don't have. It's certainly something that's a big factor. But of course, Nico's riding a Vesk, and that just gives you immense power. And of course, the remote tilt, he's been, an innovator with remote tilt. He's been an innovator with a lot of the Vesk software out there. Nico's pushing a lot of boundaries out there. So
he's one of the ambassadors from the Vesk.
Absolutely. And I've got to give a big shout out to him. Obviously, the entire Future Motion team, they've done a lot of stuff this year. And a lot of those guys are sitting really hard. Luke Austin, I don't know. I'm sure you saw the picture of Luke Austin I caught down there going big in the air. He's, doing incredible.
Just crazy.
And he's got such a great attitude. Love him so much. I could sit here all day and name names. I'm so impressed with so many of the riders out there. And of course, everybody goes out there and sends so hard. And even the riders who I may not know their names, I'm not, it's hard to keep track of it. And I always feel terribly guilty when I'm like, I don't know your name. But these people are sending hard. Even riders who are, halfway back in the pack and 3/4 of the way back in the pack, they're out there riding incredibly hard, going super, super fast through these rock gardens and off obstacles and ledges, and respect to everybody out there racing, especially the guys who are in the older class, the masters class. You guys got guys out there in their 60s, out there really riding hard, which shout out to my dad. My dad is 67 years old, has over 1,000 miles on his Onewheel. I couldn't be more proud of him. Yes, indeed. So I couldn't be more proud of him. He terrifies me. The man rides in pushback all the time. I'm like, Dad, slow down. You're going to kill yourself. Zoom. I'm like, I'm trying to catch him on my GT. He's riding an XR. It scares me. Oh. And of course, he's 6'4", so if he falls, it's a long way to the ground.
Let's talk about some pictures. So, Brenda, she was here in Europe too.
Love Cindy Brindy. So yeah, best attitude ever. Gotta love her. I really got to know her well at Fire Mountain a couple years ago, and she had these shoes that said, Cindy Brindy on the shoes. Just amazing. And her attitude and Stoke. Endless, truly endless. Love Brenda so much.
It's very special. So, who is this guy?
I have no idea. I never did. I'd love to answer that. Does anybody know who this is?
Who is this guy?
I literally don't know who the Stoke Yeti Bigfoot thing is.
Was this guy invited, or he just appeared in an event like
this? Came out of the woods as best I know. I think he just came out and ate a rider and stole the board or something. I don't know. But the guy sent hard, so whatever. That's fine. We didn't need the rider he ate. We didn't notice the missing or anything, so it was fine. Just fine.
So let's go. So here, you working.
Yeah, so this was a fun joke photo. I said this is what happens every time I hand somebody else my camera to take a picture of me. You'll notice the bush in the background is beautifully in focus. Of course, I will say the softening effect on the skin whenever I'm out of focus, I look fantastic. So no judgment here. And you'll see Jeff, that's Jeff Gross there in front of me. So yeah, that's one of those photos I really love because I was
Is a big love. Is your second love or your first love picture? Taking pictures.
I will say that's a hard one to choose, right? I've been doing photography. I've been gallery listed for many years. I did do fine art photography for a while. I've done a lot of photography competitions, and I really do enjoy photography a great deal. But it was always sort of just a little side thing that I did just because I was passionate about it. And I think it's fair to say now that it's still pretty much a side thing I do because I'm passionate about it, but I certainly spend a lot more time doing it these days than I ever have before. So, but with that being said, I'm blessed with an amazing number of amazing subjects. I couldn't be luckier as a photographer. I get to take pictures of all of these super amazing people doing super amazing things. And really, what more could a photographer ask for? So I'm a lucky guy.
Before we continue, I'm going to make you a question. I don't know how you're going to answer, but when you say, guys, let's take a picture from group, how do people react with you? Because we meet, Nelson, again, a photo from group where we have to stop. How do people react?
I've made a very distinct effort to make sure that it's a one and done sort of situation. People are generally pretty good about it, but I try to make sure that it's very rapid and over with. Otherwise, we're all a bunch of type A, ADHD sort of folks. So if you want to keep their attention for more than about a minute, you're going to have troubles.
Yes.
I found I can get a minute out of everybody pretty easily. At Float Life Fest this year with the 400 riders or whatever it was. That was a couple more minutes than 1 minute, but that was people gathering up and whatever. We still managed to do all the shooting, and I think about 1 minute aside from the portraits of everybody that we did individually. So one of the big keys for group photos with me is make it happen fast.
I'm like this. I know that everybody complains, but later on, Nelson, do you have the pictures?
Exactly. Everybody loves the photo. Everybody, we don't want to stop the fun. We don't want to stop the fun. We want to keep going and play, and that's understandable. Me too. I'm guilty of this.
But when you see these pictures, my friend, how can you can tell about the pictures? Where was
warms
this?
My heart every time I see them, surrounded by such good friends and wonderful people. And I think that's one of the greatest things about the Onewheel community is that not only are these good friends, but they're all amazing people. I could, go through everybody there from Jamie T to, yeah, absolutely. You've got just these wonderful people there, Chris, of course. And, it's just absolutely outstanding people. And by the way, that last picture there, Canadian Dave, that guy is so stokey. All the left. The guy that says one-wheeling is not a crime shirt there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy right there, one-wheeling is not a crime shirt with the blonde hair next to me. That's Canadian Dave, and he is just outstanding individual. Love the guy, super stokey, always down to help, never stops. And Chris Ferret there, by the way, on the right of me wearing the Def Punk shirt. He's recovering from surgery right now, destroyed his knee at Float Life Fest. We're hoping to see him back stronger than ever this year, but right now he's laid up in bed doing a little recovery time, so send a little love to Chris there. I hope you're feeling good today, buddy.
And what I think is nice is everybody is having different t-shirts, different propagandas, but everybody's together.
Yes, I love it. And that's one of the other things, even in the aftermarket company business where, there's a lot of competition and a lot of the other things going on, with a very, very few exceptions. Everybody, even, the vendors and stuff in the background, all very, very good friends with each other and all very close to one another. Many of us talk on a weekly basis, just, hey, how's it going? How's everything going? Anything cool coming out? This sort of thing. Can't tell you how awesome it is to be in a community where even where there may be some business tension, the friendship never stops. It's wonderful.
This is a big friendship, these three guys.
Yes, Chris Richardson there, of course, who we all know is the godfather of many one-wheel tricks. I think Chris has invented more one-wheel tricks than anybody else. He spends an incredible amount of time out there riding super hard, and just doing all these
Is he better today?
things. What's that?
is he better today? Because the last time I was here in the interview, he told me that he was operated and he was recovering.
Yeah, so Chris has been on a bit of a health journey. He's certainly getting better and better and better. I think that we're going to see him feeling better this year than the last couple of years. And he actually was out with us on a ride and for the Gel Blaster War just the other night when I was dressed as Santa. So, really love Chris. And I hear that he's working on a new trick and hopes to land it very soon for the upcoming year. I can't tell you any more, but I will say, as usual with Chris, expect amazing things next year.
And I always call him from the beginning. I was always watching his video. I always call him Chris the Ferrari.
Yes, Chris. So Chris has got a sports car background like me, and he actually has owned a few Ferraris, some very nice ones at that. He doesn't own any Ferraris now. I will say he's given it up for Onewheel. I think he enjoys the Onewheel more than the Ferraris.
But the Onewheels, he continue to put everything in red. And
no, he definitely, every one of his boards. In fact, we just did a 5-inch MTE hub from Float Life for him. I actually painted it for him. Got a beautiful Ferrari red on that hub. So Chris, definitely, we always have to make sure all of his boards are Ferrari themed. This is a strong thing with Chris. We always, in fact, originally Chris was one of the people who helped me develop Armor-Dilloz. He was really our first beta tester out there besides myself. And originally the colors, we only had red and green. And the red was Chris Richardson red. Still to this day, I refer to it in my head as Chris Richardson red. We don't really, publish that, but that's Chris Richardson red. And over on the right-hand side, that green was Andrew Stroh green. Sly Dog Stroh, of course, one of the original riders up in Chicago. Made a lot of videos out in the street, just always riding, having a good time. He's moved on to EUC more or less since. I think he still rides Onewheel some. But yeah, that green was because Andrew Stroh just loved green. And I was like, we're going to make a red for Chris and a green for Stroh. Of course, we ended up adding blue for the scooters later on. That was inspired by Fluid Freeride, which was our first scooter customer.
How many colors do you have today?
Oh my goodness, I don't even know. Behind us, you'll see that there's 6 different colors up there. We have stuff like the Dr. Orange brand, which is Voro Motors in-house brand. We've got the Alien Rides, Alien Blood, which is really cool. It actually has some glow in the dark in there. So if you put a UV light on it, it actually glows really cool. We've got a bunch of different brands out there. Flight Fins, of course, had the black product. They're just carrying red these days because we decided that, there was no need with the newer tires. That was really built just for the Whisper, for the extra lightweight when we were back in the XR, and a couple of ounces of volume made a little difference in speed. We decided that, the powerful motors now, we're just moving everything to red, although we might still go back to a black for them. Now, Rent E-boards, Jake Cooper, of course, they have white. We do a solid white product for Rent E-boards. There's a lot of colors out there. Tire Sire, of course, we did gold for. Even put for a little while, we had some gold sparkles in it. Very fun stuff. So we've done a lot of colors over the years, but our core line is the red, green, and blue.
Yeah, I'm just showing some pictures for you guys to see it, but I recommend, I'm going to leave all the links for everybody to come and see it. He has lots of stuff. I'm going to go just for the beginning for you guys to see it. That is because there is different. There is his Cory, is his private. So he has his Facebook, his Instagram, Facebook. Where is this here?
That was Race for the Rail, wasn't it? Yeah, that was Race for the Rail, I think.
So then let's take this out just for everybody to see it. Then we're going to go to his company, one of the oldest company for us. Is very good, this company, not just for the Onewheels. Today, the AUC they are using a lot. The bikes is using a lot. If you think that is just for Onewheels, you are very wrong. That is good for your tire, for you not get stuck in the middle of a ride. That is, you're going to be, if you don't know it, I think that is the best opportunity you're going to have is to buy this. And I just want, again, like in the first time that we speak, I just want to say this is free propaganda. Is not paying me nothing. I invited him to come here because I think he's very important for our community. If he has a company, we have to thank him. but we don't have no deal. He's not paying me
No.
nothing.
Oh,
We don't have nothing. That is free. I have it too. I was very proud to be in Portugal in an event from Fabio, the Algarve tour, and you was one of the persons who sent to sponsor them,
yep.
and it's difficult for us to have good sponsors like you, and you being in the other side of the world, and just said I'm going to sponsor. I think that is very important for these small events,
Yep.
and I recommend for everybody if you
Yeah,
are
I
riding.
couldn't be
Yeah,
more
please.
happy to sponsor the European events. Love what you guys are doing over there. I love the spread of the sport. It really, really does matter to me to see this expand and see this go to other countries. I understand that shipping to Europe is incredibly expensive. So I really don't. I don't see that we're ever going to be particularly economically successful in Europe, but I don't really care about that. I don't sponsor these events because I think it's going to pay the bills. I sponsor them because I want the sport to expand.
It's
Um, you know,
difficult for you. It's difficult for you to find a person who can represent you here in Europe.
the truth of it is everybody over there has been great about that. The biggest challenge is in the shipping logistics and the import duties and all of that. It's terribly expensive to get the product over there. It's already, as I said, we make the product with no concern for the economics. It's all performance based. We don't really care what we spend to make it. We don't care what it costs. We want to make sure that it's really incredible performance. That's the only goal. And of course, the consequence of that, whenever you add on, shipping and everything else, I just sent a shipment out to, I believe it was New Zealand,
Hmm.
and it was $800
Wow.
shipping. I mean, it's incredible expensive.
It's so
Um,
expensive.
it's just so expensive. So, I fully recognize that whenever we sponsor these events in Europe and such, that we may never, be the primary choice for folks over there because it's expensive. But you know what? We just really want to support you
But
guys.
Cory,
We couldn't care less
you
about being economically viable. We just want you guys to do what you're doing, and we want you guys to have a blast. And where we can support you guys, we want to do that because it's awesome watching you guys grow and follow the sport and everything else over there. And of course, you guys have this unique line as well because of right to repair and everything being what it is over there. It's obviously difficult for you guys to race, Future Motion brand boards. You guys are pushing hard on the Vesks. I think it was somebody
yeah.
at the Float the Highlands event said essentially, we love the Future Motion boards. We really like to ride them on the street. They're super nice, but we race the Vesks because we can repair them when we break them. And of course, that makes a
Yeah,
great deal of sense.
that's the big problem for all of us. I have friends like I was like we just going to make a stupid. I have a good friend. He bought the GT, and in the 2 weeks before the end of the 1 year of warranty, it was with a problem, and he tried to contact Future Emotion, and it was very negative. And he said, "Okay, uh, they don't give me nothing, and I'm not going to expect anymore." He was very happy with the Future Motion, and at this moment he said, for me to wait so much months to repair it, 250 euros to send it there, to send it back 250, I'm going to change to Vesk because Vesk is for me easier and
Yeah.
not so expensive. And I think that is very sad to see that we don't have the support from Future Emotion in Europe. I think will be great, and they are losing the European riders because Vesk is coming bigger and bigger because we don't have no options.
Right.
I'm just going to explain to this. That's why I'm not talking about a GTX costed $3,200 there by you guys.
Yeah.
For us, costed 4,000. 4,000 the standard with nothing. 4,000.
It's a lot of money. I mean, it's a small car. It's a lot of money.
And if you put a Vesk with 84 volts with all the batteries and blah 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 blah, maybe you come not close to 3,000, not close to.
Yeah. Which means you're spending, literally, what is it, 30% less?
Yes.
It's a big deal. I mean, we have to face the fact that economics are what they are. And I would love to see Future Motion find a way to be more competitive in the European market and get you guys better service and all of that, because that's what it's going to take for you guys to really be able to enjoy the sport. And the same thing goes for New Zealand. Incredible country with incredible riding there. Dom, of course, Dom Williams, everybody knows Dom. He's going to college in New Zealand right now. And he's actually importing a few boards here and there, as I understand it, for himself to ride on, and eventually, sells a few of them to friends, whatever. But it's almost impossible for them to really get these things there at any sort of reasonable price. It's just insane. Of course, Australia, our friends in Australia, we love them. They work super, super hard to get the things in over there. I just heard Daniel Hagen is actually riding again, which is great. He hurt himself some years ago. Actually, a dog chased him and he fell off and broke his leg, and it was a terrible thing. He's actually back to riding, which is super stokey. Love to hear that. Shout out to you, Daniel. Welcome back. And I think that it's really one of those things that it does have to be solved, or else it is just going to be. And of course, vests are great these days. It's not like you guys are missing out on a lot, but let's face it, the software on a Onewheel from Future Motion is outstanding. So it's nice to get.
It's like this. There is lots of products like you in the market, and I tested some of them, and it was a big disappointment for me because I cannot come close to the product that you have. And you have to think about this. Maybe 90%, I always tell to this, sometimes the people of the Vesks, they don't like what I told them. I tell them, but it's like this. There's 10% of guys who like to ride fast, and Vesk is not easy. You have to have a little of knowledge to setting. And 90% of the people just want to plug and go. And that comes the Future Motion because it's easier.
I admit to it. I used to own Miami Board Shop, the repair shop, which of course now Chris Richardson is operating. I didn't have the time to keep doing it, and Chris gave continuity of service so people can still get their boards worked on down here. But the truth of it is, even owning a board shop and even building these boards and everything else, I got to admit, I love the convenience of just grabbing a board and turning it on straight out of the box and going and riding it. It's awesome. I admit fully and openly to being a lazy guy where I can be. I love being lazy. And the Future Motion boards are just certainly a much lower barrier to entry in terms of, knowledge and effort and everything else. They're great like that. And of course, like I said, software and shaping. We might give Julian crap for some of his positions as far as IP goes, but when it comes to the software that he developed for these things, all the credit in the world has to go to Julian, because he really did develop, still to this day, what I think is the best feeling software out there. It's incredible. There's just a ride quality to the Future Motion boards, especially on the street, that is just, it's fantastic, truly outstanding. Vesk is getting close, really close. And maybe someday very soon it'll be even better.
My friend, it's going to be better. You have to think like this. In the last year, the Vesk has grown very fast. I was in a ride. I have the pleasure to tell this. About 2 weeks ago, I was in Paris riding with my friends of mountain boards, off-roading, and then I take of my box my Onewheel, and everybody was like, "Oh, a Onewheel? What are you going to do with us? We are very fast and blah blah blah." And then I said, "I have a Vesk here," and they said. And then when I start riding with these guys, and they start to see the Vesk pushing, and there was like, "Oh, there is this uphill. I think you're not going to get it." I said, "You're going to see it." And I was pushing close to these guys, and in the end of the ride, this guy was telling me, "Nelson, maybe I'm interested to buy something like this."
Good. Yeah, I think that's one of the things about the Vesk. If you're going to go push hard and ride hard, I think the Vesk may actually already be better than the Future Motion boards in many ways. The difference where I think the Future Motion board wins out is if you're just going to go ride gently and just, have a soft, easy little float out through the city to go, grab some lunch or whatever it may be. There is a certain ride quality, especially for newer riders on the, Onewheels it's outstanding.
And
but the best software, especially when you're going uphill off road, I gotta say I prefer Vesk.
So for me, my friend, I cannot have the future motion. I'm a very big guy. I have close to 300 pounds, 300.
Yeah, so Vesk all the way. Got torque, baby.
And I fall so many times because of this connection,
Yeah,
nosedive. And I said, I was very disappointed. And then when came the Vesk, I can tell today
huge difference.
I can go to the end with not worrying that I'm going to fall.
Yep. I
Uh,
don't
I,
I don't generally ride my one wheels off road. I ride my Vesk off road. It's a
mhm,
Maker's PEV built Vesk. Atlo Shop, of course, is building some incredible boards. I hope to probably get myself one of those in the next year. But I can't say enough about how much I like it off road.
mhm,
To the point that at Float Life Fest this year, my GT got brought out only whenever my Vesk was charging,
mhm.
and I got it put back onto the charger and grabbed the Vesk again as soon as I could every time. Because off road and out there in the trails and having the fun, especially where there's hills. Of course, Miami, we don't have a lot of hills down here. The biggest hill we have in Miami is the garbage dump, and they want you to ride there. So, the
I
thing
was
is,
in Miami. I was in Miami. I work for Royal Caribbeans in
yeah,
and I was there about 22 years ago. And the first time I was in Miami, I said, "What is this? That is a big city and very hot." Sorry, that
very hot.
is
No, that's the thing.
that
We
was like
definitely know how to do hot.
when I come out of the airport with the air condition, and I come out, open the doors, and I was like,
Yeah, it is a experience. It hits you. You don't really think about the air until you get out of an airplane in Miami and you go, oh wow, so air is actually a thing. I didn't know you could feel the air. This is a new
"Oh, you
experience.
guys, you have to be prepared." Huh?
Yeah. We like I said, we ride at night a lot during the summer. Of course, during the winter, like I said, we've got the nicest summer in the country all winter long.
Miami is beautiful. Come on, I was in a night in Miami. Is a beautiful, beautiful city, big
Beautiful
city.
city, beautiful
Mhm.
beaches, beautiful ocean,
Oh,
beautiful
that is
boats,
so
beautiful
nice.
people. There's lots
Yeah.
of beautiful people in Miami. You gotta love that. It's truly a wonderful city and lots to experience. And this is the other thing about Stokebird that I try to encourage
Hmm.
people to do when they come down. And that's one of the things that I think makes it special. This isn't just a one wheel event. We encourage people to go experience what Miami has to offer, not just with the group, which of course we do lots of things and we encourage people to be with the group as much as they want. But if you'd like to break off and go see some of what else Miami has to offer, there's just a ton to do here.
Yeah, I think
It is
so.
truly an amazing place to live, and it's a really great place to visit,
How many
even for a
days is it going
day
to
or for
be?
as long as you can be here.
How many days is the plan to be the event?
So we're going to be doing February 22 through 25 is the actual event. But of course, we have a day or two beforehand where we do a little bit of stuff, just some pre-rides and such. Everybody kind of shows up a little bit early, a few folks, and they
Hmm.
go have a couple of dinners and this, that, and the other. And then of course afterwards, like I said, there's an after party that runs from Monday night, Tuesday night. And for those who still have the gas, a little bit of Wednesday night. By then, I'm pretty much smoked out. So I'm just kind of sitting in my cabin, just going, I'm going to sit here and just watch the fire burn and like watch the water go past because I'm kind of done. But with that being said, there's a full week of riding and friendship and enjoying Miami. And of course, one of the big things as well is critical mass. We have a ride here that is ran by the Miami bike scene, called Critical Mass, where everybody gets together once a month, last Friday of the month, and they go out and they ride in mass through Miami. And last year we joined them. I am pretty sure there was over 1,000 people riding through the streets together for that. This year, I mean, we're going to do it again, I think. And now it's a little challenging for folks. So we do, if you're not up for 15 miles of nonstop high speed riding, we
Hmm.
encourage folks to just enjoy Wynwood together and relax, do the thing there. But for those who are up for it, Critical Mass I like to think of it as the best shit show there is. So,
Curry, I'm going to make like this question like this. How do you do you having this massive riders there is going to be is enough places for you guys to charge how the restaurants, bars, and everything
so
react
we
to this
do
guys?
Yeah, we do absolutely encourage people to utilize the charging. We're available in bars and restaurants, and they're very friendly about it. So most bars and restaurants, especially
Mm-hmm.
Wynwood Brewing, who welcomes us there each year, has a lot of outlets outside, and they
Mm-hmm.
welcome us to charge there. But we also utilize generators that we have running at different locations. So this year, we actually decided to go ahead and I dug in my pocket over top of the sponsor money and spent way out of our budget. But now we have multiple generators we own.
Oh,
So
that
we,
is
we
good.
actually bought a series of 12,500 kilowatt generators, which are basically the largest portable you can really get that's reasonable. They make a 15,000, which
Mm-hmm.
is a couple more watts, but it's like 500, 600 pounds each.
Mm-hmm.
Those are bigger than I want to move anywhere. So we ended up getting the biggest practical movable generators that we can move around, which are the 12,500s.
Mm-hmm.
And so now we actually own those and we'll have them each year. And we should have enough to charge about 100 devices simultaneously.
Ooh.
So hopefully that's enough to keep people charging pretty well. And if
Yeah,
not,
if you if you
we'll buy more next year. So hey,
yeah, but you have to think like not everybody needs to charge. Like you was talking
right.
about AUCs and bikes, so they have big batteries.
They have big
Most
batteries.
so most of them they're not going to need to
Right.
charge.
Yeah,
And
even our longest days, we only typically ride 50-ish miles on the longest
mhm.
days,
Yeah,
which of course that's well within range for an e-bike or an EUC or a scooter.
it's more than
For one
enough.
wheels, that's definitely a charge or two or three.
Hmm.
But again, people can charge at different times, and we do one of our longest rides, which is from Wynwood, Miami, over to Key Biscayne via the Causeway and all the parks over there. So we do actually station generators at kind of a midway point over there. And just allow people to charge up there when they get to the area. Of course, in Key Biscayne, there's charging outlets both at restaurants and in the landscaping. You'll find them hidden among the bushes for lighting at Christmas and such. And they always leave the power on, so we can steal a little power from the city. They don't seem to mind too much. But yeah, there's a lot of options for charging, but it's always a challenge. There's a lot of power needed to do what we do, but we do our best to accommodate.
And how is the community for Miami when see so many people riding? I think first of all, I think that is very positive because you are showing to the world, because lots of people sometimes they don't know what is a one wheel. It's strange for us to tell that in 2023, but
Yeah, yeah.
is the
So
reality. So
I mean,
the
there's only
people.
300,000 of us out there who own a one wheel, right? So we're
Hmm.
still at like just barely over 250,000 people out of the
Hmm.
7 billion some odd on the planet.
Yeah.
So we're still pretty rare. People are still not quite used to seeing them. There's still some questions of, hey, what is that, right?
Hmm.
But Miami is a cool city insofar as that we're a city where both the authorities and the people who are here seem to welcome us as just sort of a fabric of the city thing. I think
Hmm.
that people view us as being as much of a spectacle that adds to the experience of the city as a nuisance. Hopefully,
Hmm.
we aren't much of a nuisance. We really try not to be, but the truth is I recognize that having 500, 1,000 riders going through the street, it's a nuisance. It certainly is. But drivers are very respectful here. Of course, you have, the crazies always. You're always going to have some driver somewhere doing
Hmm.
something stupid and crazy. This just
Hmm.
happens. But generally, the drivers here are very wonderful. They'll oftentimes even stop when they don't need to and wave you through. Go ahead, go ahead. And I'm like,
Hmm.
stop and stop. And they're like, no, go ahead, please, you first. Okay. And I love that. So generally, I feel like Miami, as far as the culture goes, is extremely welcoming. They're very open to us, and they're really wonderful to us as PEV riders. I can't
Hmm.
say enough good about riding here and how lucky we are,
Hmm.
especially having ridden in other places where it's not always so welcoming. You've got the police chief chasing you around town, being like, I think that it's heck. We last year at Stokebird were running over to Key Biscayne in the morning, and there was a police officer who just randomly just took his car, parked it across the intersection, turned on the lights, and was like, "Come on, guys, come on!" So I really can't say enough good about the police here, about all the folks who are authorities here, and of course all the people of Miami who are genuinely, truly welcoming and wonderful. We're very lucky, and I know it.
So first of all, I don't want to make this video very big, but I want to say something very important. Uh, you are the person. I'm going to put like this. I would love to go to the Oka event. I would love to go to the Miami event.
Oak City's
Uh,
amazing. I love the squirrels.
uh-huh.
They're so awesome.
Well, lots of friends for me was in Oka, and they said, "No, so that is crazy. That is a magnificent event."
It's a
Of course, I want to
magnificent
go.
event. They have a wonderful property they do it on with this pond down there and this great racetrack that they've built and are continuing to build and make better. And of course, more important than anything, the Oak City squirrels are amazing humans. I love them all so much.
Hmm. And then, of course, I would love to go and see my friend Justin. I think it will be the pleasure to meet you. And for me, I'm not going to put very bad, but I'm a very person community, and I love your style of events because I love to see events that we see not constants, but bringing the community together.
Yeah.
And sometimes we take for our pockets, like you, investing in the future, and you are showing to everybody around the world what is the PV. Why do we are riding these machines? Is not just because of the ride. Is maybe like me. I go every day work with my PV, and I don't need to use my car. And I know that lots of people would love to do that. And I think it's a way for you guys to bring 1,000 or more riders on the streets. Uh, to open the minds, and maybe I know that lots of people come and ask, hey, what is that? And I know that lots of riders, you can try it, and you're going to have a person more in
Yes.
this big community.
Yes, I
And
remember the original Stokebird. We actually had a random person walk up on the street and what is that? Can I try it? And they that day from Ryan Hurwitz bought a brand new Onewheel and they were riding with us. So we've even had brand new riders come and join us at Stokebird, which is amazing. Couldn't tell you how proud I am at that fact. And you're absolutely right. I will say we couldn't do Stokebird without the sponsors that are so generous to us. Very much want to thank each and every one of them for enabling this to happen free for the
mhm,
community because it couldn't happen without them. And of course, we're also lucky a lot of the other events to have a race. You have to have the insurance. You have to have this venue. You have to have all of these things. Stokebird is not an event. It's a gathering. So
mhm.
we're lucky enough to be able to keep the costs low enough because of that we don't need to charge a ticket fee. We don't need to get these big numbers from our sponsors. We can do this relatively inexpensively and just make sure everybody's here to have fun and experience the city without having to worry about revenue and costs and insurance and event space and all those things that go along with it.
So, my friend, I just want to say something very important for everybody's out there. It's always a pleasure to see you, to talk with you. I don't like to invite two times or three times the same person, but there is some persons I have to bring here. Events that is made around the world, they have to come here. You are one of them. You are not just a guy who has a company. You are more than that. You are what we call the community. You help a lot to make this grow. Without you, I was pretty sure we was not in a level what we are today. Uh, People who you take a picture, this picture is they're going to take for life, and they're going to love more this sport because they feel that they are in a community. When you don't, when you are like forgetting the persons and you just go to the event and nobody notice you, and then maybe you change the sport. And having you, like you or lots of people who make pictures, videos, and sometimes we never see them, and you one of the first ones. I know that you love a lot to take pictures, and sometimes you take a little of the enjoy to see the other people enjoying. uh, I have the biggest pleasure to have you here and to have the chance to go to Miami. But before I go, I know that Fabio was talking about in the beginning, uh, and I think it's important for us in Europe or around the world who want to go to the Miami. How, if I go there, me or someone like us, what is the best way for us to rent a one wheel?
So there's a couple of options. There is this site called Friend with A.
Mm-hmm.
.com, and they have one wheel rentals available on there. Of course, they're oftentimes rented out for Stokebird. Also, just reach out in the local groups. We have the South Florida one wheel group. If you make a post in there or in the Stokebird group and say, hey, I'm coming from Europe, I need a board, can anybody help me out? Oftentimes people are generous and won't even ask for any money. I
Mm-hmm.
certainly all of my spare boards are already spoken for, else I'd say, come on over and grab one of mine. But we always try to make sure that people are able to ride. And if a board breaks, there's generally somebody standing there with many one-wheelers have 2, 3, 4, 10 boards. So we generally are very good about making sure people have a one-wheel to ride. Now,
That was the second question I would like to make you. If, like me, I go there to the event, I'm meaning anyone. Uh, there's some place to repair if there's something, maybe a cable is
of
broken.
course.
Uh,
Yep.
is
So not only will you find that the community is generally pretty well equipped to deal with this, just friend to friend, but you also have multiple repair shops that sponsor the event and will be here.
mhm,
They're not necessarily providing service exactly, but I'm sure if something breaks, they'll be more than happy to help out as they can.
okay.
And of course, there's also the local repair shop, Miami Board Shop by Chris
Hmm.
Richardson now. And it's just a few miles away. So if need be, there's always that option for repair as well. So there's lots of options. And before we go, I just want to say and just pause
No,
this a
no,
little
no,
bit
no,
and
no.
say
We just
thank
go when
you.
you. We
Thank
just
you
go
so
when
much for
you.
doing what you do, because it's shows like yours that really do help to get the word out and stoke people up who may not necessarily be aware of the sport, be aware of what we're doing. And just the opportunity to come on and chat about these things. I think it's a great opportunity to, explain a little bit more about what we're doing and why we're doing it. And, like I said many a times, I'm really not that great at creating media. I'm much better at making sealant and events than
Me
I am
too.
at making media. So the opportunity to come on and chat, I really appreciate you and all that you do. Thank you for that.
Thank you so much. I just want to say, I just do this. I always tell this. You are the 314 interview here. You came here was the 32 or 32 4 interview. You was one of the first persons I reached, and you the channel was very small, and that is not important for us. I never asked to nobody to subscribe. I never asked nothing. I'm
Click
always tell.
like and subscribe
No,
now.
no, no,
Click
no, no,
like
no,
and
no,
subscribe
no, no,
right
no.
there. Click it right there and knock the bell too.
No, 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 no. I just want to say that's why we have in so many platforms. I put in Facebook and everything. I would love. I see lots of people starting making the lives, and then they see they don't have so many clicks and they give up. And if you are doing with the intention of getting clicks and likes and getting rich with this, then you are doing everything the opposite. You are not doing for
Yeah.
the community. And
Yeah,
if
no,
you are,
it's like they say, there's an old joke here from motorsports back when I was young. We used to laugh and we used to say, how you make a small fortune racing? Start with a large fortune.
but I would but for me, just to finish, I would love to have more persons doing this that can speak better English than me. And I sometimes you understand what I mean.
You have great
Sometimes
English. Your English is better than any of my other languages, so
I'm learning
I'm
every
not
day.
criticizing a bit.
No, 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 but you understand what I mean. I would love to see this,
Sure.
not having just one or two or three. I know there's good guys trying to do this, but we need more persons doing this lives, bringing the riders. Sometimes you don't have to bring the international riders. Bring from your city, from your
Yeah.
state. Grow your community. That way,
Yep.
the people feel loved and they. Bring his friends, and his friends are going to see the lives, and that is going to grow. That is like what we have to work, all of us together. I try my best, but I always ask to everyone, if you have a camera, uh, just your camera, you just have to go to StreamYard and go there. You can have 20 hours free. You don't have to pay nothing, and you just start it. Bring your friends, show maybe how to fix something. You're going to
Yes.
do it a good thing for our communities. And I'm very proud to have 314 interviews I did
So
with,
amazing.
and I have so many friends around the world today that I learned so much. and I learn with you, and I learn with all of them. But I ask to everybody's out there, if you have the chance, don't have to do one time in a week, one time or two times in a week. Just do one time in a week. Take 1 hour. Bring a friend. Try to do something. Believe it is going to help the PV community to grow up,
I
and you're
agree.
going to be very happy to have maybe sometimes we learn so much from other persons, and I don't want to put this, but is something that is I see other friends from this year starting to do the lives and they give up, and I was very sadly seeing that they was not doing for the love, they was just doing for the clicks. And I reached to them and I said, why do you stop? You was doing a fantastic job. Why don't you grab this opportunity and help the community? And it's very sad that we don't see that. And
Right.
that's why I love what you are doing. And when we start the interview, when you told me that the event is free, uh, is something that reached to me as very special, because I do lots of events. I do lots of things. Sometimes uh, I lose money, and I
Yeah,
know what is happening with you. Is you sometimes you lose to see this community growing, and
absolutely.
that's why I have today more respect for you than I was
Well, thank
two
you.
hours ago,
Well, thank you.
because
I'll say this: I don't mind losing money on it at all, because if I ever make money on this, I'll feel like that's wrong. This is something I do for the love, and
yeah,
I think that. And by the way, I will say that's true of most events, even if they are charging. These are expensive to throw. The races and
yes,
everything else. I don't know of anybody making money at it right now. I think.
yeah,
I think everybody loses money throwing events, and so that's all the more reason to support them where you can. These things are expensive to do, especially like I said, racing with all of the costs associated and the event venues. Everybody who's doing this is losing money. This is not a way you make a living. This is a way
yeah.
you spend the living you make,
I'm
and
just
it's worth every penny.
that's why I love like you today. I love the way you do things. I love the way Justin do it. I love the
Yeah,
way you are simple persons. I'm just going to tell something because of the my European friends who did 5 events this year. I
that
see
is
them
incredible.
struggle. Yeah, but I see them struggle, and sometimes the people think that they are winning money, but they are struggling. I was in Italy seeing Jacopo Martin
Love the Float
with
Italia guys. Those guys are
uh,
so awesome.
and
Still, by the way, they did the best commercial we've ever had. By the
uh,
way, that Float Italia commercial,
mhm.
incredible.
And they are just a family coming helping and everything. And then you see the guys from Belgium in a last minute raining every day, and the community come out and help them to build everything for the event to happen. And I was so happy to see that. And then Portugal, Fabio, I know how Fabio loves this sport and how much money he lose in these 3 years. He started alone riding and then coming to this sport, and then we go to the guys from Switzerland that they put the heart of everything. And of course I cannot forget the Vesk man is a person that I love so much, a guy who is pushing so much for the Vesk in Europe. And it's not easy. Then the guys from Scotland in
Yeah,
the
and those guys.
out is like you are. I recommend for everybody to go there because you are
Yes.
out of the world. You are in the mountains, in the desert. You don't see no homes, nothing, but that is so beautiful, so amazing. And they put everything together, 5 or 6 persons, and they arrange to bring this big event. And it's not easy. Next year we're going to have lots of events here in Europe. And if you are thinking that Curry, Justin, the guys from Europe are making money. The guys from Oak City, they are making money. So you are so wrong. They are
Yeah,
just losing, but they are doing for the love of this community.
that's right.
That's
Yeah,
why I love to make these interviews.
well, thank you very much for doing what you do. Like I said, it means the world to me to be able to be here. I really appreciate you having me on yet again. I couldn't be more honored to be here twice. And congratulations on building the channel to the point you have. And I can't wait to see what comes of the next year. Let's keep doing this, brother.
Let's do it. So for everybody's out there, before I go, like always, I leave the last words for the person who came here, for your community, for the people who came to see you, for the people who are going to see this video later. Don't forget the video is free. It is not. You can take the video. You can spare it. It's free. I don't read no money from YouTube. That's why it's in all the channels. Just bring this information out for everybody to see it. Always going to be this big event in Miami, and if you have the possibility, go to the other events. I know that it's difficult to go to all of them, but if you have the chance, go and enjoy yourself. I think you're going to make lots of friends. You're going to enjoy it. If you never try a PV, like always, try to contact the community close to you and say, I never tried, can I come and test it? I think there is lots of persons out there who are going to say, come and test it and enjoy it. Maybe it's the right one for you, maybe it's not, but just try it.
Yep. That's it. No limits to Ride Electric, right? So,
Yes.
and I'll close this out by saying from my side, I couldn't say how lucky I feel. Truly, there's no words to capture how lucky I feel to be a part of what we're doing. Thank you to everybody who supported us thus far, and I can't wait to see what we do over the next coming years. We've got a long road ahead of us, and it's going to be an exciting journey. Thank you to all of you for joining us, and let's keep doing this. I can't wait for the next time. Thank you.
So, guys, don't forget, we're going to stop. We're going to come back next year. It's going to be a little more. You see the Santa Claus. He was racing in the Onewheel. So we're going to have a little stop. I hope that everybody comes and maybe receive the present, the perfect one that you always wait for. And but for me, I always tell to everyone, I hope that 2024 is going to be better than the 2023, with a big smile, help, enjoying, riding, having a good time, making good friends. And I hope to see you next year. And for you, my friend, I hope that this event is going to be bigger, bigger, bigger. And I'm very proud that you bring not the Onewheels, but put the PV community coming to Miami. And I think that is going to be awesome. And I think you're going to make lots of good pictures for all of us.
Yes, and also on that point, thank you to Tori Shinework for coming out and helping us with photos each year, because I can't do it all myself. And so thanks to the helpers, like I said, Jake Cooper and Tori Shinework. Really appreciate everybody who helps. And of course, the rest of the folks in the community who are now doing more photos. I see more and more folks out there turning out great work. More, please. The more of you out there doing this, the better. Please, please, please. And if you ever need advice or help, I'm here. Please ask. I'll do whatever I can.
I'm just going to, before we go, why the name? Why Armor-Dilloz?
So this is a great story. So my company name, the actual company name, is Overkill Incorporated, because that's what we do. Why do it just good enough? We're going to do it as best we can. Overkill all the way. But the name of Armor-Dilloz is actually a DBA, and that came about because of Kai Miller. I reached out to Kai and I said, hey, Kai, listen, I'd like to get a drawing for my bottle of an armored tire, kind of on a Onewheel. Kai is a great artist, does a lot of tattoos. Many Onewheelers have been tattooed by him, original designs. He's done posters, he's done shirts. The Stokebird, the original Stokebird that actually is the flamingo on a Onewheel, he drew that even. But so he actually came back with a drawing that was this cute little armadillo rolled up as the tire on a Onewheel. And I went, you know what? That's awesome. That is super cute. We're going to go with it. And I figured out that, whenever we looked at some of the SEO and everything else, Armor-Dilloz is a pretty unique name. It starts with an A, ends with a Z, so we're all the way through the alphabet there. I just thought it'd be a fun one to go with, and we became Armor-Dilloz completely unintentionally, but I'm very happy with the name and very happy with our cute little mascot.
Yeah, my friend, I'm very happy for you too. I think you did a fantastic job, and you are doing a fantastic job. And I hope that we can have a good chat in USA. But for everybody's out there, before we go, I just want to show something for you guys. From Portugal, this next year is going to be 8 events in 8 different countries. If you have the possibility to come to them.
So exciting. Look at all of those.
And we're going to go to all of them and have a good time. So for you, my friend, Thank you so much. Have a good time. Have a good evening for all of you. I don't know wherever you are. Just enjoy it. Have a good time, and we see you in the next one. And we